right. So we'll go ahead and get started. Hi, everyone. My name is Teresa Abbott. I am one of the Associate Directors of Undergraduate Admissions in the Admissions Office at Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute. Thank you for being here tonight for the Women in Computer Science webinar. Before we get started, I just wanted to mention that we are recording this, so you are able to view this at a later point. We'll be putting it on our admissions YouTube page. So I also wanted to let you know, just in case you didn't want to broadcast your video or unmute your microphone during the Q&A section, you're always welcome to put your questions into the chat box, and we'll be able to answer it that way. But if you are comfortable, feel free to, when we get to the Q&A section, to broadcast your video to answer or to ask questions verbally, or unmute your microphone, whatever works for you. But I'm going to turn it over to my colleagues over in computer science. So Jenny, you can take it away.
Hi everyone, welcome. Thank you for taking your time. I'm not sure which time zone you are in, but good evening, maybe good morning. So do you mind to go to the next slide? I'm going to start by introducing myself. I'm Jianyu Zhao. I'm one of the 4 academic advisors in the School of Science Advising Hub. So the Advising Hub functions like a divisional advising office. We see all the undergraduate students in the School of Science. I advise a majority of computer science. So I have a different office in the CS department. So my fun fact is I have moved 8 times in the previous 7 years. So I did my master's in Texas and then moved to Ohio for my first job, and now I'm in New York. Yeah, so part of my role, except for advising, is to advise some of the CS clubs and also coordinate some kind of events like this. Yeah, I work with the students a lot, really enjoy it.
Hi, everyone. My name is Megan Potter. I'm another one of the Senior Student Services Administrators in the Computer Science Department and the broader School of Science Advising Hub as well. So I like to say that my title is really a fancy word for academic advisor. So I do a lot of similar things, that Jen, you mentioned, advise students on course selection, make sure they're making progress to graduation, and also planning accepted students events to welcome and recruit our new class of students. I've been working at RPI for about 3.5 years, and like Jen, I also really enjoy working with our students because they're fantastic. My fun fact is that I have an 8-month-old, I think she's actually 9 months old now. She's a little puppy named Ruthie. If you hear her barking in the background, I apologize, but hopefully she'll be quiet for the next hour.
Yeah, hi everyone. My name is Erica, and I'm a senior computer science and information technology and web science dual major. I'm also involved in some other organizations on campus, including the Epsilon Pi Epsilon Computer Science Honor Society. I'm a mentor for the database systems class, and I'm also part of the dance club and the Alpha Gamma Delta sorority. My hometown, I'm from Mahopac, New York, and a fun fact about me is that I've been to 8 concerts.
Hey guys, my name is Neha Deshpande. I'm a computer science student at RPI. I'm a sophomore, class of 23. Also, the organizations I'm part of, I'm the vice president of coding community. I'm a mentor for ARCOS, as well as I've been taking ARCOS since first semester freshman year. I'm in ACMW and also in UPE, the Honor Society that Erica was talking about. My hometown is Parsippany, New Jersey, and a fun fact about me is that about a year ago, I bought a drone and I've been flying it around ever since.
Hi everyone, my name is Joyce. I am a sophomore CS and ITWS dual major. Some of the student organizations I'm part of are ACMW and Hack RPI. My hometown is in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. Something I didn't mention on this slide is that I was a teaching assistant for the Girls Who Code Summer Immersion Program. And a fun fact about myself is that I really like painting and drawing.
Hi guys, my name is Brianna. I'm a dual CS and ITWS major, and I'm planning on minoring in cognitive science for artificial intelligence. I'm a freshman, and I am the freshman representative for ACMW, and I am part of the Society of Hispanics at RPI. And a fun fact about myself is that I can change my voice to sound like Toad and Yoshi.
Awesome. So we have invited, five. Sorry, Olivia is last. Sorry.
So I'm Olivia, and I'm a computer science and cognitive science dual major, and I'm a junior, so class of 2022, but I'm graduating semester early, so this fall. On campus, I'm involved in the club volleyball team. I'm an admissions ambassador, so I work with admissions. So I'll probably see you guys at some other acceptance students events. I'm an undergraduate computer science mentor, and I've mentored Computer Science 1, and now I'm mentoring Intro to Algorithms. I'm involved in Greek life, and I did research in the Language Endowed Intelligent Agents Lab. I'm from Woodruff, New Jersey, and my fun fact is that I've never coded and did not know anything about coding before majoring in CS at RPI.
All right, thank you everyone. So we have invited five awesome students to be here tonight to answer your questions about the CS department or the opportunities and RPI has to offer and the life experience being a female in the field and things like that. So we can start with the questions that were submitted by the students when you guys registered for this session, and then we can open up the floor for more Q&A. So we'll start with these questions, and feel free to put down more questions in the chat box, and we're gonna start them after we finish up these three questions. So the first question was, what companies have partnerships with RPI for internships? For those of you who have, done internship previously, or if you have attended the career fair, feel free to share.
I guess I can go first. I don't know if RPI has specific partnerships with companies for internships, but my summer after my freshman year and summer after my sophomore year, I interned at S&P Global, which is a financial company in New York City. And then this upcoming summer, I'm an AWS intern at Amazon. So I'm going to be doing software engineering for them. So I got both my internships not from the career fair, but I also attended the career fair 3 years in a row. And there's sometimes opportunities to get interviews right there on the spot or the next day, and being in a lot of clubs also helps you get internships. I know they have a lot of events with different companies and stuff like that.
Yeah, so touching a little bit more about clubs. So ACMW, we have a lot of company events. So for example, we've had events with Bloomberg, IBM, Microsoft, a lot of different companies where we hold technical interview workshops for people to learn more about what the coding interview is like. So that's a really great way to get involved and meet different recruiters from different companies. So I highly suggest checking different clubs out to get in touch with companies.
Yeah, I can add about my internship experiences. So I got my internship after my sophomore year at the career fair in the spring, and it was with a defense company doing software engineering. And then the following summer after my junior year, I got a tech consulting internship with Deloitte through the fall career fair at RPI. And I did my interviews fully on campus and stuff. And then now when I graduate, I'm gonna go work at Deloitte full time.
Awesome, thank you all. Next question is, what are the advantages of being a woman in CS?
I can talk about this specifically for being a woman in CS at RPI. I'd say the main advantage is that it's a really tight-knit community. There's a lot of people, a lot of women in computer science I talk to at least daily, or at least I know their names and I've heard of them, unlike not something I can say with a lot of guys at RPI. And in addition to that, sort of building on that, there's a bunch of different clubs available here too for like specifically towards women. There's ACMW, which Joyce mentioned before. There's a Girls Who Code club also. There's Sisters, and the other important thing that I wanted to mention was the Grace Hopper Conference, which is like I'm not sure if you guys have heard of it, but it's like specifically for women. It's like a tech conference for women. It happens in October, and you guys should like look into it. It's
Just one add to that. I attended the Grace Hopper conference the year before, 2019, and it's really awesome. Well, I don't have a background in computer science. I just mainly work with students in this field. They have a lot like employers from the flag companies and like all the really top tier companies were there and looking for interns and looking for full-time students, and they do like career fair on site, and also they have like the scientists in the field, the researchers like doing really awesome presentations. The keynote speaker were really awesome. So yeah, hopefully you can check it out when you get here. We also offer some like scholarship you can apply, and the department has some funding for it. So definitely, make good use of these resources when I'm here. And we usually have some like departure like information session hosted by the department. We invited like the student who have attended this conference and to share what they have been doing and how to get prepared for those interviews at the Grace Hopper conference, how to make connections with the employers and networking, all those. Yeah. Anyone else want to share more about your experience being a woman in CS?
Yeah, I kind of wanted to build off of the idea of clubs being a really big help, especially for me who came in as a freshman at RPI. This year has been like really tough with COVID, but honestly, clubs have helped me so much to find other people that I can connect to, especially women in CS. Through ACMW, I've met upperclassmen and other freshmen who I can ask for and reach out for help, and they're really helpful in that aspect. And there's so many different opportunities that you can find through these clubs and events that they host in finding like future careers and opportunities for women specifically, well, who are looking for women in CS. So they're really helpful.
Thank you. We can move to the next question. The average starting salary of a graduate in CS with a CS degree from RPI. I just looked up our data. For a student who graduated 2020, the average starting salary for a CS student is about 96K. We don't have the data yet for, I think, December or like this summer, but if you're curious about this year's data, I can maybe update to you later, like in the summer once we have this available. All right, we can open the floor for more questions. So feel free to use the chat box and send the questions over here, and we can go through them one by one. Okay, I saw a question coming in. How close are you with your professors?
I can answer this. I'd say I'm closer with some of my professors than others, but that's really just dependent on how interested I am in the class and how interested I am in getting to know my professor, especially if you reach out to your professors and you go to their office hours and you really make like an effort to make a connection with them, then they're going to be there for you and to help you. I know in some of my classes, like I was having some issues with some of the material, and like I'd go to my professor's office hours every day and I would sit in his office and like we would just talk about life sometimes about the homework. Like It's really what you make of it. And all of the professors are really helpful and they try their best to make themselves available to you. I know I've had some professors like sit down and open up their office hours at like 6 or 7 p.m. for me because like I had class all day. So they're really helpful, and I've never had a bad experience with a professor. So I think that says a lot about the people that work here.
Yeah, I can add to that and say, like, since RPI is not like a super huge school and it's like not also super tiny, you have like a good amount of students in class, so it's easy to like get to know professors on a more personal level. And then also like whenever you go to office hours, like you can get like one-on-one time and get to talk about like your interests and stuff. And for me, I've been a mentor, which is like an undergrad teaching assistant for a few semesters during the course of my time here. So I got to work with professors like a lot and get to know them very well. And even like have them as a professor, even if I like only mentored for them before. So I got to know them pretty well through that.
Awesome, thank you. Next question, what's the ratio of women to men in CS at RPI? I have the data right here actually, since I did a project for the department trying to get some data related to diversity and inclusion. So as of fall, by September, the total enrollment in CS is about 1,400, and the ratio between women and men is about, we have about like 19 to 20% of women in the CS department. Advice for someone who doesn't have a deep knowledge of coding before.
I can take this question. So during high school, I didn't really have I never took a coding course actually. So it was the summer before I came to RPI that I learned a little bit of Python, and that helped me. And the way I learned it was just watching YouTube videos. So I think that's just a way to get your foot in the door and learn a little bit about coding. But you don't really have to do that much like of an in-depth like course before you come to RPI, because once you take the CS1 course, you'll be set. So I wouldn't worry too much about that. So I think you're fine as it is.
I can also add to that. Another big thing that helped me, especially in the beginning of my freshman year, was in asking the professors or TAs a lot of questions and going to office hours. Those helped me like a tremendous amount. Like, never be afraid to ask any question that you have, because more likely than not, there are other students as well who also have the same questions as you and might be scared to like ask it out loud. So don't be scared to ask them questions. They're here to help you understand what you're learning. And office hours are like a great help whenever you're stumped on like a code that you're working on, a homework assignment, or like lecture notes or something. So don't hesitate to, like, if you have any sort of question, little or big, like, go to office hours, ask questions. Those are my big points.
Anyone else want to chime in? Yeah, you don't necessarily have to have the any coding experience prior coming to here, as the panelist said. For those of you who don't have experience, you can start with the CS1. We always assume that students don't have a coding experience, and you are still on track to graduate in 4 years. Yeah, don't worry about if you don't have any experience with coding before. Next question, is the majority male CS population intimidating? If so, how do you deal with this?
I can answer this. I think that this question brings up the point of having imposter syndrome, which is basically like you feel like somehow you are like less competent than everybody else around you. And if you're feeling that, first of all, it's perfectly normal to feel that. I'm sure everybody on this panel, especially at one point or another, has felt that. So the advice I would give you for that is just set goals and make sure you try your best to try to achieve them. And notice that since everybody else is also feeling the same way, it's like you know, it's like it's just not a big deal, and you'll definitely get over that. Yeah, I'm sure others would have some advice about that.
I can also talk about this a little bit. When I first came to RPI, I was not a CS in Cog Sci dual. I was a CS and computer engineering dual major, and the computer engineering department's much smaller than the CS department. And I remember walking into my first day of intro to electrical computer systems engineering class and noticing there was only one other girl in that like specific section of the class with me. And I was definitely like very intimidated just because, you know, I'm used to seeing other girls in a lot of my classes, and my high school really pushed women in STEM. So I was used to having that support system around me. But I have to say, like, after my first class, all of that intimidation went away. All of the males, especially in the CS department, they treat you as an equal and you treat them as an equal. No one really assumes that because you're a girl, you're not capable of it. And I know that was like a big fear of mine. And I really feel like the community for women at RPI really supports you to push yourself to be better. And I can tell, like, I mean, just from the people who I'm friends with, like we succeed more than the men because we have such a great support system to like push us and to help us grow. And like I've noticed in my classes, the women are more likely to ask questions and to be more interested. And I think that's just because of the community that we've made for ourselves within our major.
Anyone else want to comment about your experience in the Sisters? I just want to add on that. So prior to COVID, the female faculty members, Professor Barb Collar and Professor Stacy Patterson, always made themselves available to meet with female students on Tuesday night for the Sisters meeting. So they not only talk about classes or answer student questions, like not only just like, you know, normal office hours, but they talk about life. And Professor Bob Collar, you like bake some cookies for students, and they just play games and just hang out sometimes, and they talk about you know, some of the professional opportunities in the field and things like that. It's just a great way to connect with the faculty members, and the female faculty members always made themselves available for the female students as well. It's definitely a good environment for, you know, the female students to like feel comfortable being themselves and things like that. The next question is about the course load. What's a course load look like? And then how do you balance academic and social life? And what tips do you have?
I can start with this. So the course load is definitely like significant and can be a lot at times, but that's like what you have to expect, I guess, when you're taking on like a major like this. But you have to just really be like on top of like your time management. And the way that I like balance my academic and social life is I just like use Google Calendar a lot, and I like schedule things in. I'll even schedule in like exercising or something just to make sure I like know what I need to get done at certain times. So it's like a tip I have for keeping everything like organized during college, because it will be a lot more compared to like high school. But it's definitely good to like make time for your social life, like on the weekends and stuff, so that you do get a little mental rest, because the course load can be a lot of times, but it's certainly like rewarding. And then you just have to kind of work on your time management and whatever works best for you.
I'd also say that like I've been taking 20 credit semesters for like the past 2 years. Basically, I wanted to graduate in 3.5 years with 2 majors, was determined to do it. And I'm going to do it next semester, but I ended up taking on a lot more than I could handle at some times. So I think it's really like knowing what you're capable of handling. And I still had a social life outside of my 20 credit semesters, and like some weeks were definitely worse than others when I had more work. But I do have to say some of my professors were super understanding. I know like last spring when we all got sent home for COVID, I was taking 5 classes, all 4 credits, and I was like struggling to keep up with some of my work being home. But I was doing my best to keep on top of it. And then when I found out that my grandparents had COVID, I like fell off the wagon, could not get my work done. And I emailed all of my professors and I was just like, hey, do you think you could give me an extra couple of days? Like, I've just had a really bad week this week. And every single one of them gave me an extension. Like, they're really understanding. So even when, like, especially when you're first transitioning into freshman year, like, it can be a tough transition, but don't be afraid to like reach out to your professors and to ask them for that extra day or ask them for a little bit of extra help. And a lot of the CS classes even build in late days into your schedule. So like if you have 3 assignments due on the same day, a lot of classes will be like, oh, you can use a late day. And that's basically like a day where you can turn in your homework assignment a day late with no penalties whatsoever. So those are a really great resource to use as well.
Yeah, so I would say that the course load could be tough at times, but I would definitely make use of office hours and getting help from mentors and TAs. That's just something that I think that a lot of times when you're struggling with an issue, it's best to ask for help because you don't want to be stuck on that issue forever. So why ask a problem later on, or why not ask the question now so that you can get it done with earlier on and fix your problem early? So I just think that asking for help is something that's really important when you're taking really difficult courses like data structures. But yeah.
Anyone else want to chime in? Related to data structures, it is a really challenging course, but we have a tons of resources available for students, and definitely make good use of it. And we offer the TA session, I think, every day, and you can like go to the session not necessarily like for the TA assigned to your session, but you can go to any other TA for help throughout the week. And also we have tons of other academic resources on campus, the ALAC, the Advising and Assistance Learning Center. They offer some like tutoring services as well. Our UPE also offers some like private tutoring sessions for student in data structures. So these are definitely like good resources to check out, especially like as the panelists have said, like make sure you ask for help. Since the professors and the TAs and mentors will not know that you have some struggles or have some difficulties unless you speak up and reach out. Next question about the languages. So what programming languages were used most in the CS classes?
So CS1 uses Python and data structures uses C++. So if you're starting, like trying to get a head start on like starting to learn, those are the 2 languages you should try to get ahead on. And then as you get into more advanced classes, you get into like C, Java, yeah, and lots more, mostly depending on the class. But like by that time, as you get more experience, you it becomes like a lot easier to pick up languages. So yeah, definitely if you're looking to get a head start, try to go for C++ or Python, depending on what class you're taking.
Anyone else? I don't know if any of the seniors want to comment on the higher level courses that you took, like what programming languages were used?
Yeah, towards the end, like you can kind of choose whichever languages you like for some major projects. Like I took, and then, or you could take like database systems and you'll learn like SQL and like that type of stuff. But once you get to the higher level, it's more like C-based languages. And then if you have like a general group project, like you can pick whichever language you all feel most comfortable with, but you get a foundation in C, C++, Java, and Python from the first 2 years.
Awesome. Thank you. How many hours on average do you put towards studying CS daily?
I can take this one. Starting off, like it won't it shouldn't be too big. Honestly, like it should take maybe a couple hours, like a few hours like every day. You shouldn't take up your entire day because you're just getting into it in the beginning. But then gradually as the workload increases and your understanding like increases, there will be times when like the hours will start to like pile up more and more, but it shouldn't become like unmanageable, since they're like mentioned before, like TA and office hours that help to like minimize that a lot. Obviously, if you don't if you're not looking for help and you're stumped, it's going to take you a long time. But reaching out for help, asking like friends for like little pieces like advice, or maybe like going to TA and office hours to like help you fix something and some sort of bug in your code or something like that really helps to minimize the amount of time that you spend on these homework assignments.
The next question is about, I guess like everyone here had this experience, like just think back when you just got the offer from the colleges, what made you choose RPI?
I can go first. I know that I chose RPI because their CS program is super flexible and has a ton of free credits basically built into it, which allows you to dual major really easily. And that was what I really wanted. I wanted the ability to be able to choose what I wanted to do with my CS degree. So, because a lot of the other colleges that I was looking at kind of laid out your 4 years for you, like, oh, here's what you're going to take. This is what you're going to do with your CS degree. All right, there you go. But RPI lets you choose a concentration within CS, and then also those free elective credits allowed me to major in cognitive science as well, which I chose that because I'm really interested in AI and machine learning. So I've really been able to customize my degree to do what I want to do with it, because CS is just such a broad field. So I really liked the option of being able to dual major and kind of pick what I do with my degree.
To build off of that, I also visited campus and took a virtual tour online at the time, since at the time that acceptances were happening for me since I'm a freshman currently, COVID had happened and I wasn't able to visit campus anymore. I had visited once before, a year before, and it was honestly really beautiful. Like, it's not too big where you like it takes forever to get to places, but it's not too small. And honestly, like I found that like kind of like my ideal type of campus. And I also got to go to these webinars and meet some of the professors in the CS department, and honestly they were really nice, and it seemed they were really cool, and yeah, that's one of the reasons why I decided to choose RPI.
Yeah, so I think that the size itself of the student population is probably like one of the major reasons, because I didn't really want to go to a school that was huge per se, just because a lot of the times it might be harder to get help with certain courses and get in touch with professors and like mentors like that. So I think one of the biggest reasons is because of the size of RPI. Just being able to have a close-knit community with other people is probably the main reason.
Yeah, I could build off of what Joyce said. Like, I liked how small, but like not too small the school was. And also I came in as a computer engineering major. So when I did like my tours, I got to sit in on a like computer engineering course, and I got to see like how the professor was teaching, and also just I saw how the other students interacted. And I really liked how at RPI, like every student wants each other to succeed and it's not like a competitive environment. And I just felt like I fit in best here. And even if I wanted to like change my major sometime down the line, I liked all the offerings in like technology that RPI had. But yeah, it was more like I felt this would be like the best place for me to go, with like the student body being really like nice and supportive. And then being a girl, even though like this, I'm like a male predominant school, like I still felt like it was going to be like a really good experience, and all the good job opportunities that RPI has to offer was really appealing as well.
Yeah, I definitely agree with the flexibility in the computer science department regarding what classes you can take. And what made me decide to go to RPI was like the quality of the education. Like just even starting off, the first few classes that you take is like an sort of like an all-encompassing computer science, like it goes into a little bit of everything. And then as you get into the upper level classes, you get to choose what sort of concentration you can go into, as Olivia was saying. So you can like choose which classes you can take depending on what you're interested in. Whereas in other colleges, you like, it's not as flexible. That you have a set in stone sort of curriculum and you don't have a choice in what to take.
Awesome, thank you. Just want to add to what Niha and Olivia was saying about the curriculum. So the CS curriculum is both rigorous and flexible. CS requires 28 to 32 free elective credits. And so it's really easy for you to like fit in another major. So that's why we have a lot of students doing the dual majors in the School of Science, or if they're interested in business management, for example, they declare a business dual. Or we have students doing like CSE, computer systems and engineering dual major, and the GSAS. I saw there's another question about GSAS. So these are really common dual majors a student doing with computer science. You know, CS is interdisciplinary anyway, so we have a lot of students applying the CS skills into a different field, or they're just interested in something that's outside computer science. So the curriculum definitely allows you to explore a different field. The minor, definitely doable as well. Minor is usually like only 16 credits. So you can pretty easy to fit in another minor, or have students doing like 2 minors, for example. So you can take a look on the maybe the CS website, and we have the curriculum over there for students coming in 2021. I will send you I will post the curriculum link over here in the chat box, or Megan, if you don't mind. Thank you. What else? The next question, have any of you taken advantage of student services? What mental health resources are available on campus?
So there's a ton of mental health resources available on campus. So we have a health center which like treats like physical issues, like, you know, if you hurt your hand or you get sick or something, like you can go there. And then also included in your tuition is like a, I guess like a mental health center. Forgetting the word for it at the moment. But so we have a licensed psychiatrist, and then we also have therapists, and you can make appointments. And right now we're doing them all virtually, but normally you would do them like in their office. So if you want someone to talk to, you can go there. They've also started recently offering like drop-in counseling hours. So if you aren't ready to like commit to talking to someone every week or 2, or you're not sure if you want to talk to someone, you can go to the drop-in hours, and that's all still anonymous. And then I think a couple of students recently started like this anonymous chat thing where it will connect you with other students who just kind of want to rant about life or whatever. And so you can anonymously pour your heart out to another student who will anonymously pour their heart out to you. And you have no idea who the other person is, but it's kind of nice to know that other students are going through things that are similar to you, and they just really do their best to offer a bunch of services. And we also have, like before COVID, different wellness days, and they do like smoothie bowls and therapy dogs, and I think they offered massages at one point. So they do a bunch of things for mental health.
Thank you. Sorry, I'm lost track over here. Okay, so do majority of students at RPI live close by or from East Coast? I don't know if the student have ever, like your friends, maybe you can comment on that, like where that from.
Yeah, I'm not sure like percentage-wise how many are from like East Coast versus West Coast, but I would say most of my friends are from this coast, but there's also like a lot of people I know from like California or just like other states. And then we do have a large like international population. So it's cool that you'll meet like a bunch of different students of different backgrounds. But I guess in terms of numbers, majority wise, most are from this region or just the East Coast in general.
I don't know all of the exact numbers either, but I know each year we get about 100 students from California, about 60% from Northern California. 60% of California students come from Northern California. We're kind of about 50-50 Northeast versus outside of the Northeast. And about 17% of our students are international students coming from. The undergraduate population is 19 different countries. If you pull in graduate students, it brings it up to about 60 different countries. And we do have students attending from all 50 states. Just some quick stats.
Awesome, thanks, that's great. Any information on GSAS? I saw Megan already posted a curriculum over here. Thank you for that. Has anyone maybe taken a GSAS course before? Or since we have a lot of students like either minor in IT and Olivia is dual major in Calc Sci. Do you want to chime in for that?
Yeah, I'm not a GSAS dual major, and I've never actually taken a GSAS class, but I do know that one of our concentrations for CS does focus on, I don't know if it's like directly on games, but a lot of the GSAS courses are listed there, and that GSAS also offers a concentration in computer science, so it's really easy to overlap those two majors because a lot of their classes overlap. GSAS is in School of Humanities, Arts, and Social Sciences, which is where my dual major is, which is great because you have to take a Haas core of classes for your computer science major, but pretty much your humanities requirements for being a humanities, arts, and social sciences major covers all of that plus more. So I never had to worry about getting my Haas credits in or anything. So it's definitely really doable. And the School of Humanities is really, really helpful as well. I have an advisor in both schools, and I really like being in the School of Humanities. Like, they're really nice and super chill. So it's pretty easy to dual major across the two of them.
Awesome, thank you. Yeah, so I agree with what Olivia said. So we do have a lot of students dual major in these two areas because of the overlapping of these two curriculums. I think the GSAS have different concentrations, and one of the concentration is computer science. So that's why we have a lot overlapping with the GSAS curriculum. And I think they just need, the only difference is I think like 2 math courses. The other, like the CS, the core curriculum is the same. You can check out the GSAS curriculum over here, and Megan posted a link If you have any questions about the GSAT specifically, you can reach out to Brian Woods. He is the manager of the Haas Hub. He can explain to you better about what this curriculum entails and what courses you're gonna take. Next question about internships and co-ops. I think this was discussed briefly at the beginning. I guess people can share more about the experience, about how you get these opportunities geographically. Where are these opportunities?
Yeah, I could go first. So I did one internship after my sophomore year and another one after my junior year. So in terms of how easy or difficult it was to get the opportunities, I found both of my internships at the career fairs. And it does take like a lot of applying to different places, just to get like some interviews and stuff. But the career fair is really helpful to just talk like one-on-one to recruiters and get a more like personal, they can see you personally just compared to just like an application online. And I'd say for computer science majors, when you go to the career fair, pretty much every company is looking for computer science in some form. So that makes it a lot easier for us to just like go up to any company and just talk and find an experience that would fit what we're looking for. And where were my opportunities geographically? My internship after sophomore year was with General Dynamics Mission Systems, and they're located in Pittsfield, Massachusetts, which is only like an hour east of here. So I was able to live at home and like get there easily. And for my junior year, it was during like COVID last year, so I worked remotely. But it was at Deloitte, and it'll be in New York City eventually. So still in the Northeast area for what I found, but with computer science, you can find pretty much any region. And I know the West Coast is really popular for computer science jobs as well.
And in terms of finding internships and these opportunities, RPI has Handshake. So this is a really great way where you can find different internship listings and job listings, so you can apply for these. So yeah, that's a resource that RPI has that you can try to find opportunities with.
And also talk about how I got my internship. So freshman year, I applied to S&P Global Online, and I guess I liked my application, to see me an interview. So I didn't go through RPI for that one. And then they gave me a return offer for the summer after my sophomore year. And then for Amazon, I also applied online. But I learned a lot when I was going through that interview process, just because like Amazon's a huge tech company and they have a really rigorous application process, and especially their interview process, and their questions were quite difficult. But I felt really prepared for the questions. I did some like practice beforehand, but I felt like my RPI classes really helped me to succeed in that interview. And also all of the experiences that I've had through my clubs and through my leadership opportunities from being in RPI really gave me a leg up in terms of the leadership principles questions that they asked. So I didn't necessarily go through the career fair, so there are other ways of getting these internships. And then geographically, my freshman year was in New York City. Sophomore year would have been in New York City, but instead I was from New Jersey. And then this summer I will be in Arlington, Virginia, right outside Washington, D.C. So yeah.
We have another question about ITWS, I guess, for those of you who have a dual major or minor in IT. What's the best thing you guys love about ITWS different than other majors?
Yeah, so I can speak a little bit about this. In first semester at RPI, I chose to take the Introduction to ITWS class because I wanted to learn more about web development, and I found that it's actually something that I really enjoy doing, building websites. So I would say that that's the thing that I love most, being able to design and build projects that you can really have a grasp on and show other people. That's my favorite part.
I can also relate to that. I just recently become an ITWS dual major with CS this semester. So I'm currently taking Intro to ITWS, and honestly, I could say I had a little bit of experience with HTML previously, and I honestly enjoyed doing it. So trying out Intro to ITWS with learning more about web development and the different aspects that you can do with it, honestly, is what I enjoy doing in that class.
Yeah, I could speak on this too. So I'm also an IT dual, and I think it really complements the CS major nicely because you get to learn programming and still apply the technical skills you learned, but in terms of like web development and stuff, and also has more of a business perspective. So right now I'm in my Capstone course, which is the very last like senior class for IT, and we're working with real companies to complete a full project for them, and we learn about like project management and just like financial analysis of projects and stuff, while also still being really technical and like developing an application for them.
Awesome. Thank you all. Another question about the ARCH program. So kind of related to the internships and maybe co-op. Have you participated in the ARCH program? Do you recommend it? Just want to clarify, the ARCH program is required. Yeah.
So I've done summer Arch, but not Arch away yet. I did early Arch, which basically it's taking summer classes after your freshman year. So I did that last semester, and last year, last summer, and I got some of my classes out of the way. I did Intro to Algorithms and Principles of Software, which are both required classes. So taking classes over the summer is a little bit tough because it's the same amount of material, just like crammed together in fewer weeks. So it's a bit tough, but you can definitely get through it. And the professors are definitely, as we talked about before, they're really nice. They're really helpful. So yeah, that's summer Arch. I haven't done Arch away yet. I'm going to do my semester away in fall, and I'm still looking for like applying for co-ops. So I can't really talk about that yet.
Sorry, do people know like what is Arch? I guess we haven't really explained what the Arch program is for those of you who not familiar with the Arch program. So it's a requirements program for all the undergraduate student at RPI, and student will be taking junior level courses in the summer after they finish their sophomore year, and in the junior year they choose either the fall or spring to be away to have some kind of real world experience. It can be either internship, co-op, or some research experience, doing research remotely with the faculty members on campus or with other agencies. We have students like going study abroad. Some of them like doing some like startups and like maybe doing some entrepreneurship related ideas and things like that. Anyone else want to comment on Arch? All right, I guess we will answer the last question and we can wrap up. The last question is related to internships and co-ops. Who is responsible for your housing? And I guess as a follow-up, question related to the internships and co-ops? And is it up to the student?
For me, for my internship, like I live in New Jersey, like 20 minutes from New York City. So my first internship, I did not qualify for any sort of housing because I lived, like my permanent address was within, I think they usually go about like 50 miles approximately, at least that's what most companies use. So I just took the train every day. This summer, my company is paying me like a housing stipend, and then I can just like choose to live wherever I want with that money that they gave me. Some companies do include housing, some don't. Like you really have to look when you're like applying to the internship. They'll usually tell you, or if they don't tell you, you can ask during your interview about it. They're usually pretty upfront about whether or not they will either give you money for housing or they'll give you like a place to live, so like corporate housing, or sometimes they don't do housing if it's a smaller company. So it kind of just depends on the company, really.
Awesome. Thank you so much. We can move on to the next slide. So the resources that the panelists were like mentioning earlier. Teresa, do you mind to go to the next slide? Okay, thanks. So these are some of the campus resources will be really helpful for you to check out when you arrive. So the Department of Computer Science website has a lot of information about the department and some really good information for the incoming students, as well as the research interests of the faculty members, the curriculum information, as I mentioned before. So it's definitely a good website to check out. We also list over here like the School of Science Advising Hub. That's where Megan and I are working at, and we have some like good resources about how AP credits work and the HAS requirements and things like that. And the ARCH is like kind of like what we talked about earlier. So like the different opportunities that students are doing for the ARCH and the different resources. If you like, you can check out the website to learn more about the ARCH program and the student life, of course, and the CCPD, and who does some like career counseling for students, and hosts some like career fair for students and resume critique and things like that. You can take a look at all these websites maybe later, and if you're interested to learn more about the resources, and the panelists have been using all this like maybe throughout their time over here, and definitely a good resource to check out. Yeah, so here are the upcoming events that we have planned out for the students who have been accepted to the CS program. Throughout the month of March and April, we are hosting a Meet a CS professor every week, and you can sign up for the faculty sessions on the CS website, and also using this QR code over here, and it will direct you directly to that website. And we're hosting an online one-on-one chat with current students. So similar to this, but it will be on a smaller scale, and you will be able to sign up and connect with current CS students and talk to them individually, and ask a question about their experience and curriculum, classes, or their just general experience as a student at RPI. So we're using a website that is developed by one of our CS students. Frank Machanga he's very involved in the ARCOS program, and you can definitely deserve the credit for it. And we're also gonna do a virtual club fair at the same time. So these will be the two events going on simultaneously. And you could choose to go to either event and talk to the current students and the CS club leaders. The sign up link is also available on the website. If you just scan over here, and it will direct you to the website for sign up. I guess like we'll post more information about signups for these 2 events, but you can see the more details about the 2 events. Here are the contact information for us. It's my email and Megan's email right here. Feel free to email us if you have any other questions. I think we cover actually all the questions. If for any questions that we didn't cover, or you feel like you need more information on, feel free to email us after this session. And we're gonna post this session as well on YouTube, right, Teresa? Yeah. Okay, so yeah, if you'd like to review it, you can go to the admissions website for the recording.
Yep, it'll be on our admissions YouTube page, I would say within the next week or so.
Awesome. All right, thank you all for attending. Really wish to see you guys in person on campus. I know it has been a year for a long time, and you all probably like studying at home, you know, facing a screen every day, and really want like, you know, be able to see you guys around on campus in the fall.